Hello and welcome back to Object Check Part 4, Fingerings for Keyboard Music. This lesson of this tutorial is part of a larger series of tutorials in which I explain everything that has to do with Object Check, which is a part of final editing of a score, the way I do it. So today I want to talk about how to use fingerings in keyboard music because in keyboard music the fingerings have a certain official rule, engraving rule, and as you can see here, this is for example the way it shouldn't be. So for example, the right hand staff fingering should always be above the staff. That's one rule. And in case there are two voices on a single staff, in this case it's the only one, but say there are two voices, then the upper voice has the fingering above the staff, and the lower voice, the second voice for example, has the fingerings below the staff. The same for the left hand staff, of course. When there are two voices, the upper voice gets the fingerings above, the lower voice gets the fingerings below. Now for the left hand staff, so the low staff, the official engraving rule is that the fingerings go below the staff. So in this case this is wrong. Now Sibelius has the standard keyboard, the textile for fingerings, and you can see it here if you go to fingerings, fingering, edit, and this is the normal fingering style, and it places the fingering above the staff. Now well, these are all the general text settings. These are my settings. I use fingering bold, dampener Roman, and the size is absolute 7, and I use a little border here, and I'm going to tell you in a moment what that means. But first I want to talk about the two different, how do I get the fingerings under the left hand staff. That's the first thing I want to talk about. So this is all set to 0 because it's not necessary. The horizontal position, so left to right, is centered, aligned to the note center, so it goes exactly in the middle. And the border, well, let's talk about it anyway. The border is something I use to erase the background, like it says here, and that means that if I would hover drag the fingering over an object, everything except the note itself, it will erase the background, and I will show you how that works. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now you can also even see the little white space around the fingering, and this is the border that I showed you in textiles here. Fingering, edit, border. This is the erase background, that is this little square. Now the position, the left of text and right of text in percentage of the height has to do with a little white space on the side. So I chose to have it 15, so it's very little, but if I chose, for example, let's make it 45 left and right, and you could, it's a little bit much, 45. 44, why not? 44. Above text 44, below the text 44. No. So now I will have a square of white around the text, the fingering. You see that goes already. So, but this is of course too much. But the function of a border is that it erases the background wherever I put it over. So, and it is really handy in case the score is so crowded that there's no way to putting the fingering neatly above or below it. Now this is one thing, and it will cover everything. Well, right now the magnetic layout is on, so let me turn this off for a moment. Now I can drag it all over the place, and let's see. And of course in the Sibelius file you see this little space here around, but if you would leave it, if you would print it or save it as a PDF, you will not see it. You see just an empty space around it. It will delete everything except, or hide everything on the background except the note itself, because the note is the most important. But of course you can always override this rule by going to order and bring to front, and now the note is gone. But let's undo this. So, because the note, we have to see the note, otherwise what's the point of even having a score? So, but let's put this back again. So this is of course far too much. So let's go back to edit textiles, fingering, edit, and we go back to border, and we make it a little smaller. We put it to 15 because it's worked really good, and I think this was, I don't know, 2 maybe. Erase background is on. We say okay. No, even that is too much for the above and below. Maybe we can even leave it on 0 because we don't really need that, I think. Well, perfect. Yes, there's still too much space. Let me quickly check this. Border. Maybe if I leave it to 1, it needs something maybe. Well, it's okay like this. So this is what the array background does, and let's turn on the magnetic layout for this because now I see it. Now it becomes smaller. So okay, so now we have a really small white area around every finger number, and it will delete the background. There you go. So this is one thing. Now, and the fingering style textile can be set as I showed you here in fingering, and one more time you have times New Roman bold, the staff absolute size of the staff 7, the border is set here, the horizontal position is aligned to the node centered because I want to have it exactly here, well here, this is, I drag this away a little bit, and the vertical position is empty, repeat is empty, and we hit OK. So now I want to have the same settings for the lower left hand staff. So how do I do this? It's actually very simple. Before I forget this, there is an auto setting still that you have to see, and it is in default positions. And what default position does is it creates a setting that is relative to the notes itself, to the note itself, to the staff, to the music. The other one, the textile, is more related to the page margins. So that has nothing to do with the music, but more to do with page margins. So that's the difference between those two things. So if we go to fingerings again here, let's have a look what it says here. Horizontal position of the fingering relative to the notes, and I put there 0.69 for the score and the parts. So that means the horizontal position to the left or to the right, that's the horizontal position. And the vertical position relative to staff is 1.5 for the score and for the part. So that means how high above the staff. And I always leave this to 1.5 because it's a general setting, and because it's just far enough so I can always see it, and it doesn't cover, it's not most of the time not covered up by any notes. And well, the magnetic layout will also take care of that it's not being hidden, so I can easily drag it around. That's why this is just like a general setting. Now, the most important thing in default positions that I wanted to show you here for the fingering style, for the default fingering style that goes above the staff, is this part. Vertical positions above top of staff. So because of this, the fingering will be placed above the staff. So we have to remember that part. Now we need something for the left hand staff, and the fingering has to go under the staff according to the engraving rules. So the only thing we do now is to go back to edit textiles, and we create a copy of this one, and we change that little part that we saw just now in the default positions, and I'll show you how. And it asks, do you really want to create a textile based on fingering? And yes, I want that. So I'm going to call this fingerings below. I already made this style before, so I'm going to call it fingerings below second, just to make a difference. All the settings are exactly the same. The border is there also, and the horizontal position is also the same. We hit OK, and here's below, and this was and this was the one that I made before already, fingering below staff, but this is the one we created just now, the second. We go to close it. Now we go to default positions and we check. Here's the one that we made just now, fingering below second, and I keep everything exactly the same. The only thing I change is this part here, the vertical position below bottom of staff. So let's hit OK. There will be no different yet because nothing is selected yet into that style. I think I have to, no, it's correct. Now, so now we have to assign this new text style that we made just now, fingerings below. We have to assign this text style to these fingerings here, and because right now the style that is assigned, as you can see, is fingering, but we have to assign it to fingering below the second. This is the text style that we made just now. If I select it here, and I have to do a reset position, layout, reset position, now it jumps down, and it's exactly in the middle, and this is just completely correct. Except, of course, that the magnetic layout will a little jump, but it's correct. It's okay. So, but it would be a lot of work to do this one by one. So what we do is we select the whole left-hand staff by triple click. Then we go to Edit, Filter, Advanced Filter. Go to Text. We select. We want to find only text, nothing else. And we go to the normal fingering because this is still the normal fingering. We select, and now all the fingering is selected except, funny enough, this one because this was already assigned to fingering below staff. So with this selected, we go to this little part here, the properties window, that is this one here, and in the text section we select fingering below the second. And now, believe it or not, everything is assigned to this new style, but we have to do a little reset position. So layout, reset position, and that goes exactly the way we want this. So that's one thing. So now we have two different text styles. It is really great. Now I'm going to check a little bit in my notes because I don't want to forget anything. Yes, the magnetic layout, you can set it off and or on, of course. In default you can decide, now I don't want it, and because it jumps around so weird like this. But I find it actually really easy to have it because now we made this special new text style with the positions already programmed in the text style. All I have to do is do reset position, and it puts it really nice centered. So this is perfect the way it is. That's why I leave the magnetic layout on. If you really want to turn off the magnetic layout by default, you can do it in layout, magnetic layout options, and you have to go to miscellaneous text because there is no text fingering text style here, so you have to use it is part of miscellaneous text, so you can unselect it, and I don't know if you can see it here. Oh yeah, yes, you can see it here. The little, no, you cannot see it here. No, but when we do OK now with this unselected, all the magnetic layers will be gone because you can just drag it wherever you want. However, I don't like it, so I turn it on again, miscellaneous text, and now when you look here, when I do hit OK, you see what happens. It jumps off. So the magnetic layout is on again, and because it puts it nicely out of the surroundings that it shouldn't be, and my new created text style takes care of the rest. So let's put it to reset position, and look how beautiful it jumps back. So I really want to have it on. And sometimes you still have, of course, to have to adjust a little bit, although not much at all as far as I can see. But you can do that by selecting with the mouse, and you can drag it up and down, or you can by selecting it and then with the mouse, with the keyboard arrow keys, one by one. And you can use the combination of command and one of the arrow keys on the keyboard to make it jump further, and that is really nice for some things. For example, if the default would be like this, it's easier to use command and arrow, and with 3 clicks you're back down. So that's a really good command keyboard combination to remember. Now, what if you want to select and edit a lot of fingering styles at the same time? For example, you want to have select this whole system here. Let's zoom out a little bit. The whole system. Now, well, the easiest one way to do is go to edit, filter, and then you go advanced filter and fingering, like we did before, and now it is selected. It's easier though to use a keyboard shortcut for it, and keyboard shortcuts can be made in preferences, menus and shortcuts, and then edit. That's the same menu as you would use here for the filter, edit. But now we have a problem. There is no fingering, as far as I can see, no fingering here. And so I found it always a little bit strange, so unless I completely miss something here. But thank God, fingering is part of another text style, and that is staff text. And staff text we have. So I can go to staff text, filter the staff text, and I assigned it to keyboard shortcut F12, so the function key 12 on my Mac keyboard. The only problem is with staff text that it also includes the expression text to all the dynamics, so you will see what happens. So this is F12, it's selected now, and you can also see it happening when I go here. I select the staff, including this dynamic. I go to edit, filter, and staff text. So this is what I assigned just now in the keyboard shortcut. If I choose this one, the dynamic is selected as well, but also think about the fingerings. So what I do now is I keep the command key down, and I click one time on the dynamic, and then it will be unselected while the rest stays selected. So that is command key down and then select. So so the only thing we have to do now is when selected, we hit our function key that we assigned just now in the keyboard shortcuts. I will do it right now, and there you go. No menu necessary anymore, only a little click of here. So this is how I can select really fast my my staff text that includes the dynamic as well. So like this I can edit much more. Sorry, I can edit my fingering stuff much faster. So once more I do like this, and now I can, for example, just drag everything up and down for a whole staff at the same time. And often I find I have a little bit also the working method that I select the whole system with this F12 key, and then holding the command key down, I deselect everything that is okay. This one is should be a little bit higher. You can also see it on the little square here, that is the magnetic layout shadow. So with the arrow keys I go a little bit up until this is out, so it's better. And I use command down and click on the 5 and then it's good again. So I can use it also this way. And this one, for example, this is funny, this is too high, so I can drag it down, but I can also go to layout and reset position, and it goes down. It's actually too low now, because as you can see, the magnetic layout tells me it's too low. So a little bit higher. I keep down the command key, I click the numbers that are placed correctly, and that was my phone. And the last one I just drag it down with command, arrow key, 3 click, and it is correct. So that's another way of doing it. Now what I always do at the end when I created something new, like in this case a new fingering style, I save it, or export it as a house style. And this is a piano house style, and I adjusted already many things in the piano house style. And now today I included even a new fingering style. So I export the house style. I go to my Finder quickly, because this is where I have all my house styles. Let's see, piano house style. This is my piano style. I copy the title. I delete the whole file, and I copy past the title in here, minus this little thing here, and I save it. Always with the date. I save it. So now the house style is saved again here. Yep. So I have a house style for every kind of combination, so this is really nice. So every time when I make some little adjustments, I export it as a house style, and that house style I import it later on again in a new piano piece in this case. So this is how I work with fingerings in a piano score. So as I said before, this is part 4 of the series object checks, and that is part again of how to create a final layout of an engraving. So there are many more to come. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Thanks.